Welcome to Actions, Not Words, Our Voices, Our Paths. At Rosemont College, we are blessed with a mission and values rooted in the life and teachings of Cornelia Conley and exemplified by the Society of the Holy Child Jesus. Our Centennial project team was honored to talk with 9 alumni about how their experience as part of Rosemont's joyful learning community supported them in finding their voice and shaped their chosen path in life. Please join me in listening to our conversation with Brianne Wetzel, class of 2005.
My name is Brianne Wetzel. I graduated from Rosemont in 2005. I am currently the head of the Washington School for Girls here in Washington, D.C. I have been a teacher, I've been an administrator, I'm recently appointed head, and in August, I will begin my doctoral studies at American University. I experienced the joy of learning at Rosemont in just how committed our professors were and how they really believed that we could achieve great things. And I think in the small class environment, you had to show up ready to engage and to be challenged and participate. And for me, that brought me a lot of joy. And since Rosemont, in that I now work with a Holy Child Partnership School, joy is something that I try to carry over with my own students and make sure that when we're learning together, it is a place where they feel welcomed and respected for who they are and seen. I think that was something that I really experienced at Rosemont. I felt really seen by the faculty there, and they valued me as a whole person, whole complete person, and really wanted to challenge me and hear what my opinions were and what I had to say. And I have tried to bring that with me in my work with students. So some of the connections that I see at Rosemont and in my career now, and what I have tried to bring forward, of course, is this idea of a joyful learning space, that we are a joyful community of learners. I think that was one of the themes that Rosemont had when I was there, was this community of learners, and that we were working together. And that has stayed with me in my work in schools and with students and with teachers, that, we're constantly trying to better ourselves and develop professionally and do the best that we can for the students that we have. And the sense of social justice that I think really started for me at Rosemont, and this idea of equity and fairness, and how do what I cultivate in the world and what I bring forward and my gifts and sharing that can really have an impact. And so the social justice aspect of it also at Rosemont, and knowing that what we said mattered and how we thought about the world mattered. And so I've tried to bring that forward with my students, and really encouraging them, building their confidence, letting them know that I see them and what they have to say is important, and trying to really uplift them. And I feel that I felt that at Rosemont in my time there. I think one of the things that I've been really lucky to do, or blessed to do, is that I can continue to work in a Holy Child school. So we are a Holy Child Partnership School. And for me, in leading a Holy Child school, I have drawn back to my time at Rosemont, and just the idea of how Cornelia Conley taught, and this idea that schools should be joyful places, that we should have reverence for the individual and see God in our students, and see Christ's face in our students. And so I think that really is the thing that I've brought forward with me from Rosemont, in that every child's unique gifts contribute to our community, and helping them to realize those gifts and not be afraid and not shy away from that is really important. And so creating just a safe space for our students, and one where they feel seen and heard, and that they're not afraid to make mistakes. They're not afraid to fail. They're willing to be challenged. They're going to challenge one another. They're going to challenge me and share their opinions. And I'm going to listen to them. And I think that is definitely something that I felt at Rosemont. I felt listened to. I felt that I had something to contribute. And I think because of the small environment, I was really pushed to do that as a student who came in very shy and, and very introverted, and found ways to be a leader on campus, and then have carried that through with me, I think, in my career. After I graduated at Rosemont, I joined Responsibility, which was the teacher corps program with the Holy Child Sisters. And I remember the day that I received my acceptance letter into that program. And prior to that, I'd come from out of my student teaching, and I wasn't really sure, is teaching something I want to pursue? I loved my history classes. I wanted to continue to teach that. I loved, leading. I felt like an educator even at the school, and I liked leading presentations and different things. And I did enjoy student teaching, but I just wasn't sure if education was my path. And I went and, I spent a lot of time in the chapel at Rosemont with my classmates. Sometimes we would just go there in the evenings and just kind of sit and chat. And I had a friend that would play the piano, and we would sing, and just kind of that space it just felt like a safe space to me to just be. From Rosemont's perspective, just having the space to figure that out, and then the opportunity in the form of this volunteer program with the Holy Child Sisters that kind of connected my experience across, really helped me figure that out and just take the first step. I didn't know anything about Cornelia Connolly prior to coming to Rosemont. I had never even attended a Catholic school before. And frankly, where I was in my faith was not, I was questioning it a lot. I wasn't really sure. And so I think being at Rosemont and having the opportunity to participate in campus ministry, and having the campus ministers at the time not just welcome me, but like pull me in. I mean, truly pull me in, and say, come on to this retreat and check out this opportunity, sing at Mass, or read scripture, or do this service project. That, I think, really, there was a spark in me, but it wasn't quite, maybe there was a seed in me, but it wasn't quite planted yet. And so I think when I got to Rosemont, it started to grow a little bit. And I started to think about, I can participate in this, and I can take on leadership roles in campus ministry. I can read at Mass. I can serve. All of these different pieces that just kind of grew in me while I was at Rosemont. And so I did learn about her while I was there a bit, and I remember I think we did like a play on Founders Day where we talk about her life. And so I felt that, and even in I think some of the courses that we took, Catholic identity courses and other pieces, there was some mention of that. But what I have learned as an educator is that the philosophy or the charism of who we work with, that permeates through everything that happens and everything that we do. And so the idea that college, places of education, should be a joyful place, that we should value one another, that we should have reverence for the individual, that to me, looking back on it, was evident in the actions of the professors. Because of my experience at Rosemont, Cornelia Connolly and her philosophy of education really stuck with me. And I felt, even in my current school, that I have the responsibility of bringing that forward because I went to Rosemont, because I was a part of Responsibility. But she was a revolutionary educator. I think for her time, even now, I mean, to be in a place where you feel that schools should be joyful, and we should have fun, and there should be laughter, and students should be listened to. And that, if someone is in need of discipline, that maybe they just need to have a conversation. And that, to think about her time and how she approached education then, it's revolutionary. And I love that about her. In my current school, we have something called a graduate support program. And so part of that is following our students once they leave us in 8th grade. We want to work with them to find the best fit high school for our girls. So really working with the families and talking about what are your hopes and dreams for your student, but also practically what makes sense for her, and working with them through that process. And as I'm sure you may know, applying to private schools, even or high schools, it's like an application to college. I mean, it is intense. And so really helping support our girls and our families through that process. And then while they're in high school, we get to know their teachers and their principals. Our grad support team does. And we invite the girls back into the school and work with them. So if they're celebrate with them when they have success, and when there's challenges, help them navigate through that and really help support them in finding the tools within themselves to really advocate for their education. That's a big part of it. And I think that was seen at Rosemont for me, in finding ways to engage in the campus life and take on leadership roles. And I think I even reached out to Professor Leiby when I was applying for a master's degree and asked for a recommendation. And this was probably many years after I graduated, and he was very willing to do that for me, and it was much appreciated. And and so I think just knowing that community is there, and I even think about when I have worked with some of the Holy Child Sisters through Rosemont or through Washington School for Girls, and that they come and visit the school, or the sisters that are here in Washington, D.C. And there is that connection of Rosemont that is there. And when they learn that I was a Rosemont grad, it all of a sudden is just, I don't know, there's this connection between us that is a little unspoken, but we just know that we did that together, though maybe 30 years apart. My best friends are still the women that I went to Rosemont with, and I count on them and connect with them and network with them, and we support one another and uplift each other. And we did that while we were at school. I feel like you didn't have the same level of competition maybe that you would have in other places. It was about supporting each other to reach our goals. But I think that's carried over to my adult life in the relationships that I still maintain with my classmates from Rosemont. And, they're the first ones I call when I got into graduate school, or when I have a challenge, or, we're celebrating, the birth of a child in their family, or a wedding, or all of those things. That bond is still very strong. I think the seeds of social justice for me really started to grow at Rosemont through the activities on campus, whether that was being involved with clubs or with campus ministry, just being in a space of education for women, and what that brought forward, that sense of what is just and what is right and what I can do to impact the world. I think that really is the piece that kind of started for me at Rosemont, that I have the ability to make a difference.